Yes, I think it's timely to review because of the changing market conditions. And we understand that there will be close consultation with the tripartite working partners. So SNEF is looking forward to actively participate in this review. From the employer standpoint, we'd just like to stress that we look for a balance between the wish to protect standards and workers' rights versus labor market flexibility and competitiveness. So there need to be a delicate balance struck between the two. Well, given this is not the first time that we have participated, and given the close working relationship, our expectation is very positive that we will come up with a very workable, renewed EA.
Of late, there's been a lot of discussion about Professor Lim Chong Yah's proposal. What's SNEF's view about his ideas?
Yes, indeed, there's been a number of articles, and Professor Lim has made some quantitative recommendation to adjust the wages, both at the lower end and at the higher end. So I think we respect Professor Lim's personal views. And from an employer standpoint, the wage level is quite dynamic, and this is an area that the tripartite partners have paid attention and has been working on for the past couple of years. So Professor Lim has again highlighted this issue, which we agree. But Professor Lim's proposed solution, we think it's not quite workable because he concentrated very much on the wage level. So we think that's only one aspect of the formula, and it will not work without taking into consideration the competitiveness and the flexibility of the market. So the employers would like to see addressing the same issue, but perhaps a different way, but in a way that is more long-term sustainable and not as radical in an approach. Professor Lim's proposal of a 15, 15, and then 20% 3-year consecutively, and at the same time capping the top, I don't know how really to implement. When you push up the bottom and then you cap the top, it may not be workable because companies are very worried about losing their top talents. And if companies will tell the top talent that for the next 3 years there will be no wage increase, and the top talent may very well move next door. And if I go back to the last round in 1979 to 81, where we used the high wage policy to try to uplift productivity, that didn't really work well, okay, for a few reasons. One, by pushing up wages, productivity may not follow, and indeed in that case. And also, after 3 years of high wage increase, the momentum kept on. It is not something that you can easily switch on and off. So I can just imagine if you give a 15-15 and then a 20% wage increase in the next 3 years to the low wage worker, then what will happen in the 4th year? It is not that easily switched off. The other point I'd like to make is from the perspective of a foreign investor. Our economy is very open, and some 40% of our GDP are in the hands of MNCs. The foreign investors, they like to see a steady policy and a sustainable policy. They don't react very well to shock treatments, and then they don't know how to plan. So I think on these two reasons, I think it is not quite workable, although the objective to try to raise the wages of the low-wage worker, that one we concur, and this is something that we need to do something about. And we cannot completely leave the low-wage workers' wages to market, because as a group, their bargaining power is not very strong. So, but the tripartite partners will be looking at how best to address this, but in a more stable and sustainable way.
What are some of the possibilities in helping the poor, the low income?
To see how we can raise wages and also capability at the same time. I think that is more sustainable. But I don't really want to jump the gun and say too much before we come up, because NWC is already in session.